Hi everybody, I'm going to prepare shepherd's pie. Now the holidays are here, and if you have friends or family who are going to come and visit and you're looking for a dish to prepare, this is it. It's made with ingredients that just about everybody loves, and it's super easy to put together, and it's a full meal in one dish. And today I'm going to show you how to make it step by step. Let's get started. Now I'm going to start out by preparing my meat mixture. I'm going to be using this stainless steel brazier, and I've got my heat set on medium. I'm going to add my ground beef. I have 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef. Now traditionally, this dish was prepared with lamb, but here in the States, most people use ground beef. And here in this house, we like ground beef. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Now once my ground beef gets nice and brown, I'm going to drain it of all the rendered grease. So I'm just going to be moving it around like this until it loses all its pink color. Now as you can see, my ground beef is nice and brown, and I have removed all the rendered grease. Now I'm going to add my onions. I have 1 small onion. And I'm going to move it around like this until the onions release some of their flavor in here. Now my onions are slightly translucent, and it smells wonderful in here. Now I'm going to add my carrots. I have 3/4 of a cup of freshly diced carrots in here. And I have 1 celery rib. Now back in the old days when this dish was invented, I'm thinking they probably didn't use celery. But the celery is just so good in here. Just like they didn't use ground beef, they used lamb. That's why here in the States, they call this dish cottage pie. So I'm going to move it around like this until my carrots and my celery sweat a little bit. Let them get a little soft. Let them release their flavor in here. One step at a time. So I've given my carrots and my celery about 2 minutes. And now I'm going to make some room for my garlic and my tomato paste. I have 2 large cloves of garlic right here, and they're finely minced. And I have 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. And I'm going to move them around and let them get nice and warm and release their flavor in here. So it's been about 1 minute. Now I'm going to bring everything in together like this. I'm going to add some pepper. And I'm going to add some salt. And I'm going to put all the ingredients below in the description box. Now I'm going to add my rosemary. I have 1 tablespoon of fresh rosemary, and it's finely chopped. I'm going to add it in there. I have 1/2 teaspoon of fresh thyme, finely chopped. And I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of rubbed sage. Oh, these 3 are going to give this dish a delicious flavor. And it's starting to smell beautiful. Now I'm going to add my flour. I have 2.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. This is going to be our thickener. It's going to give us like a little gravy in here. And I'm going to move it around so that it loses its raw flavor. We don't want raw flour in here. So you just move it around until it gets nice and toasty. As long as it doesn't burn, you're doing just fine. So now that my flour is nice and toasty, see, it's nice and gold down here. Oh, that's going to be delicious in here. Now I'm going to add my broth. I've got 1.5 cups of beef broth. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce right here. I think I said it right. Worcestershire. See? It's going to start making a beautiful gravy in here. And it smells so nice in here with the sage and the rosemary and the thyme. Now I'm going to move it around from the bottom like this to release all that fond, because there's a lot of flavor down there at the bottom. See? Look at that. It's all gone. And it's all mixed in here. Now I'm gonna add 1 cup of frozen peas. Now you can add corn in here if you want, or you can add green beans, whatever you like. See, make it your own. So now that I have mixed my peas in really well, I'm gonna replace my lid. And I'm gonna lower the temperature down to the lowest setting. I just want all those herbs in there to come in together and release their flavor beautifully. And I'm gonna let it sit like that on a very low setting until I need it. And I'm gonna get started on my potatoes. I've got 2 pounds of russet potatoes in here, and I cut them up into about a 1-inch cube. You wanna cut them up the same size because you want them to cook evenly. So I'm gonna set my heat up to high, and I'm gonna wait until it comes up to a boil. Once they come up to a boil, I'm gonna lower the temperature to low. I want them to cook for about 15 or 20 minutes or until they are fork tender. I'm gonna add some salt. And so I'm gonna let them cook like that, and I'll see you in a little bit. Now, while I wait for my potatoes to come up to a boil, I'm gonna warm up my milk. I have 3/4 of a cup of milk in here, and I also have 3 tablespoons of butter, see? So I'm gonna move it around gently like this until the butter melts really well in here. Once it melts, I'm gonna turn off the heat because I do want my butter and my milk to be nice and warm. So my potatoes are ready, and I'm ready to mash them. Now you can use a hand mixer or you can just use one of these. See, so I'm gonna start mashing them up just like this. So here's my milk and my butter mixture that I had nice and warm. I'm gonna add it in here. And this way we'll get them real nice and smooth. I'm gonna add some salt. And I'm gonna add some pepper. You can add as much pepper as you want. I like the look of the pepper in here. I think that's good. And I've got 1 teaspoon of finely chopped chives, see? I'm gonna add them in there. And I have 2/3 cup of finely shredded, extra sharp cheddar cheese. And I'm gonna mash them up. And I have 1 egg yolk. I'm gonna put my egg yolk in here. This will give the potatoes a nice color and it'll make them nice and rich. So my potatoes are ready. I'm gonna clean up my area and I'm gonna put my shepherd's pie together. I'm gonna be using this dish right here, and it's an 11 by 7.5. You wanna use one that's more or less this size. I'm gonna spray a little bit of non-stick spray, just like that. And I'm gonna put my meat mixture in here. Look at that. This smells absolutely delicious. I'm gonna smooth it out. See, just get it nice and smooth like this. Do the best you can. And that's good. Now I'm gonna add my potatoes in here. I like to put big blobs of potatoes and then I just smooth it out. So I'm done with my potatoes. Now I've got my oven preheated to 375 and I'm gonna put my dish in there for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now I also have a piece of aluminum foil. I'm gonna put the aluminum foil right on the middle rack and then I'm gonna put my dish right on top of it. Because sometimes, you know, when it gets hot, it could spill over. Now you can also turn your broiler on at the last minute or so if you wanna get a little bit more gold on top, but that's up to you. So I'll see you in about 20 to 25 minutes. So here it is, very hot and still bubbling. So I'm gonna let it sit here for just a few minutes before I cut into it. Oh, and here it is. So now it's time for the taste test. Mmm. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely wonderful. I can pick up on the herbs and the flavor of everything else, and the mashed potatoes on top are out of this world. Mmm. Absolutely delicious. So this is my shepherd's pie. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, send me a comment and tell me what you think. Thank you.